What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Red Clay channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to sculpt stylized hair in Nomad Sculpt, specifically the hair of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. This video is going to be split into two sections. In the first section, I'll show you step by step in real time what tools and techniques I use to sculpt hair. And in the second section, I will show you a brief time lapse of me putting all these techniques into practice as I sculpt this finished piece. Let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want to do before I jump into the time lapse where I showed you how to apply the techniques is show you the techniques. Here is our beautiful head. The first thing you want to do is extract a base for the hair that you're going to make. So we can go to the profile view, grab our select mask tool, and roughly decide on where the hair is coming out from. Once you have the mask selected, you can click on the mask options here, and it's going to extract the selected area. Here you see has a thickness slider here that you can use to decide how thick you want this to be. I would say probably somewhere around there. You can choose the smoothness too of those borders. It's not really that relevant, and you can also decide the edge loops with this slider. Alright, so when you're happy with your extraction, you press extract and you're gonna get the extraction shape. Now you have two shapes. We delete that mask and here's our hair. So the next thing you want to do is select the tube tool. Now the tube tool is an amazing thing that Nomad has, and it's going to be incredibly useful to make hair. So once you select the tube tool, you press on path right here on the side menu, and you're gonna drag it and you're gonna get a tube. Then after that you can press profile here. You're gonna get this menu. In this menu you can decide the shape of the tube. You can use these dots right here to control it. If you press the dots, you can make a round shape, and if you leave them black, it's gonna be a sharp shape or sharp edge. For now, we want more of a rounded shape, so I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'm going to kind of squeeze this circle so that we get more of a hair strand type of shape. Once we have it kind of like this, we can work with it. Now when you're working with tubes, you can select anywhere along this path and you're gonna add points that you can control. If you grab one of these points and you get it close to another point, both of them are going to become bright red, which means that they're gonna merge and become just the one. All right, so to have more flexibility with how you control the tube, it's better to start with less control points. So for example, we can put our tube right here, and as you can see, it's trying to snap to the surface. That's because snap down here is activated. I'm gonna deactivate that. Just like that. Maybe you want the hair to be just like this. Now remember guys, this is just an example of how to make hair. This is not the final hair I'm gonna make for the character. Later on, I'm going to show you the whole process in a time lapse where I show you how I make the hair I showed you in the beginning of the video. But for now, let me just show you how to sculpt hair real quick. So now you have the hair right here. You can press the twist option right here to twist the tube shape. And you can press it again to get a second twist controller. So now we have this. You can also press radius and you're gonna get a radius controller here and one here. And you can press it again to get one on every single point along the tube. A good hair shape would probably be something like this. You want to make the middle part of it wider, the end part of it thinner. Now the beginning part of it can be either, depending on what you want, but I'm gonna say maybe something like that. There you have it. There is some hair. Once you have your hair shape properly made, you can start adding more dots along the tube to have more control with how you want to make this hair. For example, something like that. Now, since this is a beginner tutorial, I'm not gonna go more in depth in regards to the tube tool. Just knowing this is enough to get you sculpting hair, so I'm just gonna leave it here in terms of how to use the tube tool and all these controllers and options that we have down here. Once you have a finished hair shape tube and you want to create another one, you press here on path again on the side menu and you're gonna drag again, and you're gonna get the exact same shape of the tube you were working with before. So we have this one, we made a new tube and it became this one with the exact same amount of points and controllers. So I'm gonna place the tube where we want it. Again, remember to deactivate snap. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe we want it to be right next to the other hair we had over here. Maybe we want to make the tip a little thinner, just like so. All right, I kind of like that. Okay, so now we have two hair shapes and now we can work on them. Now, when you're happy with the shape, the length and everything regarding the tube tool, you can press validate. And now this is a workable piece of geometry here, just like that. Now you can sculpt on it. On this one, you cannot sculpt on it yet because it's not validated. So you press validate. Right, so now both pieces of hair are validated and you can sculpt on them. Now the first thing you want to do when you want to make hair detail is to subdivide it. We have subdivide right here in the bottom menu, and you can also find it up here. You press here, multi-res, you press subdivide, press it again. We can select this. We can select this object too. Go back to this menu, subdivide a couple times. And now we have enough resolution to work on it. Just like that. Now, sometimes you're going to get shapes that are too thin to sculpt on sometimes. And sometimes you want to make those shapes thicker, because if you voxel remesh, they might get destroyed. Like for example, at the tips, they're a little bit too thin. So what I like to do is grab the move brush right here. We go to the menu up here and we activate same side vertex only. Now what this is going to do is that you're gonna be able to give some thickness to thin shapes without pushing the whole shape around and destroying it. For example, if I did not have this selected, this is what would happen. You see that? But we don't want that right now. What we want is to just increase the thickness. So I'm gonna select it and push. And now you have a thicker object that it's going to be easier to sculpt on. Gonna do the same thing with this object. Just like that. Just like that. When I'm happy with that, I'm going to do a voxel remesh. Down here, I press on voxel. It warns me that multi-resolution is going to be lost. I press OK. And it did this. Now it kind of destroyed the resolution I had before, so I'm gonna undo. I'm gonna press and hold voxel remesh and decide on a resolution density that's more favorable. For example, maybe something like that. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Okay, what you wanna do next is try to merge these two objects together somehow so that you can sculpt on both of them at the same time, and it ends up being a more blended in mass of shapes, you could say. Have these two. I'm gonna select both of them right here in the outliner, and I'm gonna press join. Once you have that, you press voxel remesh again, and they're gonna get unified. So if I smooth it in between them, now it's a single object, and you can sculpt both of them at once, just like so, which is what we want. So as far as techniques for sculpting hair, I'm just gonna show you one very briefly, which is the one that I'm going to be using on this video over and over again, which is that I'm going to grab the regular brush, I'm gonna invert it here. You can press sub and it's going to invert the effect it has on objects, and it's going to look something like this. The other thing you want to do is come here to the brush options and increase lacy rope stabilizer and stroke smoothing so that you can have more defined carvings of details. Just like that. Now when you do the stroke on the object, you want to start very light, and then around the middle of the shape you increase the pressure, and then you go light again, just like so. Look at that, what a pretty stroke. And once you have that, you can grab the smooth brush and stroke a little bit along the carving to make it look a little bit nicer, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna grab our brush again and we're gonna do the same thing. Maybe we increase the size. You start light, you increase the pressure, and don't be afraid to press undo and just try again until you get a very nice shape. Boom, just like so. And smooth it out again. Right, then maybe I press sub again to make it act like normal, something like this, just like that. Maybe you want to press voxel remesh again and grab the smooth brush and smooth it out, smooth it out, smooth it. Here we go. Once that's done, I like this shape, I like these forms, I like the volumes. What I'm gonna do is grab the crease brush, and then I can start to carve in more fine details. For example, well, first I'm gonna go to the options again and increase the lacy rope stabilizer as well as the stroke smoothing. And I'm gonna try again, just like that. I'm gonna do one down here. Here we go. Now you want to also smooth out right here the ends of those strokes so that you blend in those markings a little better, just like that. Here too, gonna smooth that out so that it's all nice and blended. Cool. Now the final step would be to grab the crease brush again and press invert so that now the forms pop out instead of dig in, just like that. And we can reinforce or carve new details on our model, just like this. Maybe I'm gonna subdivide it once more just so that you can see that better. Just like that. Down here we can do it too, just like this, like that. Boom, here we go. And we're gonna grab our smooth brush again, and again, just like before, we're going to smooth out the beginnings and the ends of those stroke marks so that everything is nice and blended. Right here as well. I'm gonna smooth this out. Smooth this out. Nice and easy. All right, and that's basically how you sculpt hair. You can also, another thing that you can do is grab your gizmo. This gizmo is controlling this shape. Now this technique right here can save you time when you're making hair, because of course we have to repeat this process over and over and over and over again until the whole head is covered. But the thing that you can do is you can grab one of these objects here in the left side menu. You can press clone and it's going to clone your object. Now you can move it around and use the gizmo to place it wherever you like. Maybe you can put it here, for example. You can change the size too if you want. And you can do this as many times as you want. You can press clone again and it's gonna clone that one. And now I can place that here. Okay, cool. That's pretty much it, guys. I recommend not doing this too much. You want to give the hair enough variety and try to prevent having perfectly symmetrical hair. That's also a big part of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is exactly the techniques I use over and over and over in this piece. That's pretty much all the techniques I use in this piece to sculpt the hair of this character. I hope you like it, so stick around and watch the time lapse so that you can see all these techniques in action, and see you at the end of the video. So this is the end result after hours of sculpting. I really like how this turned out and I hope this video was useful to you. Let me know what else you want to learn, guys. Do you want to learn how to sculpt clothing, armor, anatomy? I gotcha. Leave me a comment down below and don't forget to like this video and subscribe so that I can bring you more character sculpting tutorials for Nomad Sculpt.